Hello, welcome to Getting to Know You. My name is Nancy Guitar, and this is the first episode of our new show. I am so excited, I'm going to hyperventilate. Just kidding about hyperventilating. The concept of the show is quite simple, really. It's about getting to know the people who live and work and play in our area. Each week, I get to do something I really enjoy. I sit with the guests to learn more about them and have some fun. You know what they say about laughter? It's healing, it's good for you, and not only is it free, but it's better for you than chocolate, especially if you happen to be allergic like I am. Not that it stops me from eating it. Now let me tell you a little story. About 2 years ago, I received a message from some guy who said he met me briefly at Toastmasters. My first thought, here we go again, some dude hitting on me. It happens all the time. But I decided to keep reading to see what he had to say. Well, I was wrong. He was starting an improv team, and he wanted to know if I would be interested in joining. Let me see now. Me, on stage, performing, getting some laughs? So I answered him, well, yes. This person's name was Dave Hobson, which is the name of our first guest. Coincidence? Let's find out, shall we? Dave!
Hey, Nancy.
Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Please, have a seat and join me. Dave, I have so many questions for you. But first, are you the same Dave Hobson who invited me to join the Symphony Improv team?
The very same, Nancy.
I thought so. Hey, I detect an accent. I have a real good ear for accents. Newfoundland, right?
Just the other side of Newfoundland, yes, from England originally.
Oh, England. So, what brought you to Canada?
Midlife crisis, I tell everybody. We came about 15 years ago, and just a new adventure for us. We decided that originally we wanted to go to Australia, but couldn't get in there because we were too old, so Canada was second choice.
Too old to get into Australia?
At that time, yes.
That is really strange.
It is.
Now, when you say we, that's you and your harem, or?
I wish. No, myself, my wife, and my son was 15 at the time.
Oh,
when we came over.
Oh, okay. Now, it's interesting because at 15, like, how did he feel about the move?
It was quite good. He got into a school and was instantly introduced to a lot of good friends. He met another guy whose father was English, so he introduced him to lots of other people, and he was really the first one of the three of us to settle. So,
oh, wow.
And he said to us after we'd been here about 6 months, we're not going home, are we? Or we're not going back, are we? And I got the feeling that it wasn't a question, so we said, no, we're settled here.
Right. It must have been, I'm trying to think, you know, of moving to another country. I understand we speak the same language, more or less, but the food's different, the culture's different. I mean, how did you adjust?
It took us a little while. My wife took a little longer, particularly. There's one incident when she was driving that she went right across the junction and then stopped by the red light, because in England the red light is where the white line is here. So she was right across the junction, realized that she'd gone too far. Wow. So it took us a little while, and we eventually got into it.
Would you ever move back to England?
We keep going back because we have relatives over there, but every time we go back it just feels more and more claustrophobic. It's just very, very full over there.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't go back to live, but we keep going back to visit, yes.
So, and you came and you settled like in Chilliwack immediately?
We started out in Abbotsford. That was our first place, and we lived there for 3 years before moving into Chilliwack.
Right, okay. So are you working here in Chilliwack?
I'm semi-retired now. I used to work for the Abbotsford Police Department up until about 3 years ago. I was a training coordinator there, and now I'm semi-retired.
Oh, okay. So you were only like a semi-cop. You weren't a cop. You were.
I was one of the civilian staff.
One of the civilians. So how did, okay, what were you training as a civilian?
I was more arranging their training courses at the Justice Institute, the Canadian Police College, and various conferences around the whole of North America, to be honest. So I would arrange their planes, their hotels, the whole package for them to go on their training courses.
Okay, so other than work, or semi-work, being semi-retired, what are some of your interests? What do you do outside of work?
I'm very involved with the Toastmasters organisation, have been for 25 years now. Started out there in England, and one of the first things I did when I came to Canada was to join a club over here. So you get that instant group of new friends, and so I'm still very much involved with the Toastmasters organisation. And as you've already mentioned, Symphony Improv, we started that about 18 months ago, and that's really keeps me on my toes now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to Toastmasters for
Sure.
just a second, because that's our connection. Not everybody understands what Toastmasters is all about, so perhaps you could explain what it is.
It's a worldwide organization. There are now something like 135 different countries which have Toastmasters Club, over 15,000 clubs and over 300,000 members. It's been going for 90 years. It is a public speaking and leadership organization. So people who want to learn about improving their confidence in public speaking or help in their leadership development, that's the organization to come and join.
You know, I actually went to Toastmasters in China one time when I was visiting my
Really?
son. Yeah, it was interesting because it's always in English, of course.
Right.
And they do it quite differently. They're very by the book. So it was really fascinating to watch the way they did it. It was quite fun too.
Yeah.
Okay, so on a particular Toastmaster evening, what takes place, like during the meeting?
We have a number of different speaking opportunities. We have somebody who's going to give a 2 to 3 minute inspiration speech, 2 to 3 minute humorous talk, but we also have two other main sessions. One, we have people who are giving what we call project speeches. These are speeches that they've prepared in advance and will be typically 5 to 7 minutes, fitting a set of criteria that are in the particular manual that they're working on. So they know what they're going to be talking about, they choose the subject. We also have something called table topics, which is actually impromptu speaking. Somebody is the table topics master for the evening and comes up with topics, anything under the sun, and calls on somebody from the audience to come up and speak for up to 2 minutes on that subject with no preparation whatsoever.
Let's give them a plug. We're Toastmasters. What are the names of the clubs here in Chilliwack?
We have two clubs in Chilliwack. The Chilliwack Club, which meets on Wednesday evenings, 7:30 to 9:30, and that we meet at the Lions Hall on Spadina. There's also the Snow Peaks Club, which meet at St. Paul's Lutheran Church on School Street, and they meet on Thursday evenings at 7:30.
Okay. So that's their plug, so they don't need any more plugs, I don't think, right? So now I know there's, having been a Toastmaster myself, I know there's an executive committee. Are you on the executive?
I am. I'm the treasurer for the Chilliwack Club, but also there are a number of clubs in areas, and then a number of areas in the division, a number of divisions in the district.
Right.
So there are 4 areas with 4 clubs in each.
Right.
And then 4 areas in the division. I'm the division director, so I'm the administrator for 4 different areas covering Chilliwack right through to Langley.
Cool. Is there a part of the Toastmasters meeting that you like more than others?
I love everything to do with the Toastmasters group, but my favourite part is the table topics session. Table topics to me is the most lifelike aspect. I mean, let's face it, when you go for a job interview or something, they will fire a question at you and you're expected to just give a response without going, yes, well, like, you know, sort of. And so table topics helps you to overcome those little verbal faux pas and really express yourself correctly.
No, that's true. Yeah, I remember doing. I enjoyed table topics. At first, I found it kind of intimidating when I.
It can be to the newcomer. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I guess you kind of linked. I think you did it earlier. You linked table topics to improv.
I did. Yes. Yeah. I'd actually had some acting in my past. I did some acting at school and college. And then when I came to Chilliwack, I joined the Chilliwack Players Guild for a while, did a few productions with them. And then somebody introduced me to improv with the Vancouver Theatre Sports Group down on Granville Island in Vancouver. So I went to do my training there just to learn how to do improv properly. And I really wanted to start an improv group in the Chilliwack area. So because I really like table topics and mix that with the acting, I thought, get together with the improv and it's good to go.
How did you decide who to invite to join the team?
Well, as you know, one of the first people I wanted to invite was somebody that I knew very well through Toastmasters, yourself. So you were my first choice.
Thank you.
Then I ran an introduction to improv at the Elder College at UFV here in Chilliwack a couple of years ago. And one of the ladies on that group was really, really good. So I invited her to join. That's Mary Erickson.
I love Mary.
She's great. Michael Berger I knew through the Chamber of Commerce. And so he and I got together. And then you invited a couple of other people. Yeah. Michael invited some people. And here we are with the group that we have now.
Yeah, we have such a great, great team.
It's great, and when we meet every week on Mondays to practice, we call it therapy.
Now, we've performed in a few places, like the Vineyard and...
Vineyard Centre, Bozzini's, we've performed a couple of times at.
Yeah.
And then we've done some private functions for groups for there. We did a wedding one day.
Yeah, that's right.
And a corporate Christmas event as well.
You know, what I love about our team, we don't have much time left here, but what I love about the team is we're such a great, generous group, I think.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody's so anxious to help each other, like perform, and nobody steps on anybody else's toes, so to speak.
It's great working with everybody because we got to know each other very, very well now.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how the dynamics change when we get a couple of new members.
Change is always good, so they say.
So they say. Well, we're just about out of time.
Okay.
I have one quick question before we go.
Okay.
Of all the team members, am I your favorite?
Absolutely, Nancy. And I always say you are a giant amongst comedians.
Gee, thanks, Dave, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for being here.
You're
I
very
really
welcome,
appreciate
Nancy.
it. Perhaps you'll come back?
If you invite me, I'll be back.
Cool. And thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments, because we love to hear back from you, you can contact us by leaving a message on Shaw's voicemail, or you can email me at nancy_talk@shaw.ca, and look for us on Facebook under Getting to Know You. See you next time. Peace out.